morning, folks. You know, it's kind of funny. Sometimes it's hard to come up with something to have for these videos every day. I mean, you run out of stuff pretty quick. But today, my two sisters and my mom are supposed to be coming. And Mom, she's 84, I think she said. And kind of rickety. I mean, she walks with a stick, and she don't have good balance, and she is not gonna like these stairs. They're pretty steep, like so, and we got this. I think it's really cool. We got this stick handrail. And like I say, they're wooden stairs, so they're a little bit slippery, and they are really steep. Well, in this house, all the bedrooms are upstairs, and there is a garage, and in the garage there is another bed. It's set up to stay in, but there's no toilet. And like I said, she's kind of rickety, and if she's got to go in the middle of the night or whatever, I don't know if she's going to like that idea. But you come up here, like I say, we got these steep stairs. Then you come up here. Our bedroom is in here. The bathroom is right there. And then you got these other stairs. This place is like 2.5 stories high. The other two bedrooms are up there. Well, it had no handrail. So today, I should have filmed it really, because it turned out pretty neat. I put this canoe paddle on the wall because it had no handrail. And so what I did is I sanded this down and cut a shovel handle for spacers. There's two up there and two down here. So now you have a handrail to get up here. Whether or not she's brave enough to try that, I don't know, but at least it's there if she does. And there's a bed in here and a bed in here, and then, like I said, out in the garage here's another bed. We do have this one. I've been wanting to put this together anyway. We bought this at a junk store, and I mean, it's an old brass bed frame, been painted, probably iron underneath the paint there. And then we have this one too. This is a buffalo. I should tell you the story of that buffalo too. I had a friend called me up and said, "Hey, I just shot a buffalo and I'm not going to do anything with the hide. Do you want it?" I thought, well, heck yeah, I want it, you know. And so I went over there and I got this buffalo hide, and it was frozen, not tanned or anything. It was fresh, you know, and put it in the back of my truck, and we're standing there talking, and he says, "I think $50 is fair." And I said, "What?" He goes, "Oh, for the buffalo hide, I think $50 is fair." I thought, you snickered me. You never said nothing about $50. I thought you were going to throw it away, and so I took it anyway. Well, it cost me $400 more to get it tanned, but we slept under this for years. I mean, it is the heck of the best winter blanket you ever did see. It is so warm that, I mean, it's too warm. You almost don't need any other covers. But anyhow, this other bed frame, I've showed this before when we first got it. It's pretty neat. We have this is the head part of it. It's really pretty narrow though. I mean, I put this up here even with that one. You can see how much smaller it is, and this one's like a twin bed. It's not a very big bed. This is more of a like a cot, and in fact, that's kind of what it is. This is the headboard part of it. We have the toe board too. It's got this emblem on it, and we bought it at a sale up in Wisdom, Montana. Got it back home, and we looked up that emblem. It turns out it is a Army quartermaster's officer's bunk from the Indian Wars. I don't remember exact date. It's like 1880s, somewhere in there. But I would like to get that usable too. So that one, actually either one of these two beds are small enough that if you can't make it up these stairs, I can probably pack them downstairs and put up something in the living room. And then, in the comments section today, try out my new handrail here, but how to work. Anyway, the comments section today, somebody said, why don't you get some goats? They'll eat the weeds and then you can eat the goats. Well, let me tell you the story of Goat Boy. We actually named him Homer because he looked like Homer Simpson with those bulgy eyeballs and stuff. And Cindy said she wanted to get a goat. And I told her, don't you spend good money on a goat. We don't need a goat, you know. And so she found one on Swap Shop. And Swap Shop is a free want ads section on the radio here, and it was a giveaway goat. And she said, well, I found a goat. I go, you did what? And she goes, I didn't pay any money for it, it's free. So I thought, well, yeah, I told her not to buy one, but this one's free, so we got a goat. He looked just like that one. That's not him, but she picked that up at a gun show, and he looks just like Goat Boy. And so anyhow, so she got this thing to eat weeds. It ate everything except for the weeds. The mule we had was better at eating weeds than that goat was. And every now and then, it would get out of the field and into the yard, and it would eat all her roses. So she wasn't really very fond of that goat. And I mean, it was pretty funny. Teach her to bring home a free goat. But no, anyhow, so the one day I'm in the house doing something. She took the dogs for a walk, and I'm hearing all this strange noises, and I thought, what the heck is going on out there? And so I went to the door, and I looked out the window, and here's Cindy, and she is beating dogs with a shovel. At the time, we had 4 of them, and those dogs, they weren't like the dogs we have now. They were all about half wild and fairly mean. So what happened was she took the dogs for a walk, and the goat had got out, and it was laying against the fence on the ground, and no big deal. The dogs all ran up to the goat and sniffed it and went about their way. No big deal. Coming back, that goat stood up, and it decided it was going to try to be a tough guy. And when one of the dogs, Badger, I think it was, Badger was the meanest of the bunch. I mean, he'd get in fights, and there was always lots of blood. And him and his brother Spike, they got into a battle, and usually, you know, a dog fight, it's a lot of snapping and snarling and barking, and there's really not a lot of damage. Not with them dogs. Them dogs, there's always blood and usually a vet bill. Well, this one had a clear winner and a clear loser, but poor Badger, or poor Spike, I mean, got his nuts bit off. I mean, they were hanging on by the smallest of threads. I could have finished the job with my pocket knife, and we took him into the vet, and That's another big long story, but our normal vet wasn't there, and so we took it to a different vet. She said he was a bleeder and all this stuff, and it racked up a giant bill. Well, there was no blood when we took him in, and when we picked him up in the cage, there was no blood. And we told our normal vet about it, and she threw a fit and talked to the other one, got our bill reduced, because it was a lie. He was fine, I mean, other than the obvious. But there was no blood. He wasn't no bleeder. But anyway, back to the story. So this goat, he is laying on the outside of the fence, and the dogs run up, they sniff him and take on down the way, and on the way back, the goat had stood up. He decided he was going to be a tough guy, and he headbutted Badger. That was not the thing to do, because Badger lit into him, and then the other ones all grabbed a leg, and they had a four-way tug-of-war going on with that goat. Well, there was a shovel there, and so Cindy went to beating on dogs, and I stuck my head out the door, and I thought, oh crap, and got my shoes on. By the time I got out there, it was too late anyway. But that poor goat, he was okay mostly. His tail got tore off. It was a little stumpy thing anyway. But his one leg was pretty chewed up, and so I was doctoring him and putting iodine and whatnot on it, and he had it all bent like this, and he wouldn't straighten it out. He was limping on that one leg. And so I grabbed that leg and I kind of pulled it out real gentle, like a little at a time. And I felt something pop, and I thought, well, that's probably good. I mean, whatever, cartilage or whatever was starting to freeze up was loose again. And he was able to kind of straighten it out. Well, I kept doctoring him, and he's fast. I mean, I'd do it like every other day because you couldn't catch him. And one day I went out to feed the horses, and a bunch of starlings, those black birds that are so awful, a bunch of them had been flying off with tons of Cindy's chicken feed. So I'd been shooting starlings, and I looked down as I'm walking out there to take care of the horses, and here's this black thing about 6 inches long laying on the ground. And I looked at it, and I thought it was just a dead starling, And I went another 15 steps or so, and I thought, that didn't look right. And I turned around, bent over and picked it up. It's one of Goat Boy's legs. I thought, what the heck? I look around, sure enough, he's missing a leg. So now I felt really bad, and I caught him, and it was healing, but there was about that much of the bone poking out. And I thought, well, that ain't good. That ain't going to heal, and so I didn't really know what to do, and I thought about calling the vet, and I thought, well, they're probably not going to do much other than what I'm going to do, so I grabbed a pair of horse snippers, and I clipped that bone off, so it was flush with the skin. Well, it healed over. It never got infected or anything. It healed over and made kind of a little round ball on the end of his leg. And he lived for another probably 5 or 6 years. And so we had this three-legged goat that didn't eat weeds. Looked like Homer Simpson. He was ornery. It's kind of mean, actually, but what we used to do is we'd sneak up on him and then boo him, and he'd spin around, he'd forget he didn't have that leg, he'd go to run and do a somersault. Well, it wasn't very nice, but it was funny. And one day, I looked out there, and here is Goat Boy, and he's got a bucket on his head. It's one of those big bushel bucket type things with the rope handles on both sides that you use for watering horses and, that sort of stuff. And I thought, well, he's got his horn probably stuck through one of those rope handles. So I went to go out there and help him. About the time I did, he put his head down and he set that bucket down on the ground. And I thought, okay, he's loose. And he looked around, the burros, they were freaking out. I mean, they they were really going berserk, running around in the pen. And so what's he do? He scoops that bucket back up onto his head and goes to running at those burros. He was doing that on purpose. He was chasing those poor burros and scaring the daylights out of them. And it was the funniest thing. If I could have caught that on camera, that would be guaranteed to make a bunch of money on that Funniest Home Videos show. But he was a funny goat. And Mortimer, the one burro we had at the time, and him were friends. And when it would rain, Goat Boy would stand underneath Mortimer, get out of the rain. Those two were buddies, and if you saw one, the other was there. You know, they were inseparable. Well, one day Mortimer died, and about a week or so later, so did Goat Boy. I think he was just lonesome. Anyway, folks, see you tomorrow. Bye.